CzarThwomp here, and welcome to episode 18 of Apollo Justice. Last time, we started the second trial portion, and we're accusing Alita of being the murderer, and now we're going on. Miss Dahlia, do you understand? Do you know why it was, don't you? My really mean? Dr. Baraxis didn't have the issue of the leisure of making mistakes. That's why he wrote up a false report and kept the truth locked away. But Herr Doctor, and this is where you come in, Miss Tiala. The nurse who filled this chart was you, which means you knew about Wocky's failed operation. Interesting. You were in the same position as Dr. Baraxis. Kind of makes it hard to claim no connection, doesn't it? You're both a novice, I'll give you that. Mr. Justice, you must know I was only a nurse. That doctor is responsible for the chart's contents. This chart business seems to be quite important. Please amend your testimony accordingly. Too bad, little attorney. Oh no, not the hellscape! My bracelet's reacting again!
Why is it, Apollo?
I felt my bracelet vibrate just now!
Your bracelet?
Just like yesterday, just like you said! When a witness is unsure of something, their nervous habit gives them away.
But I can't see anything, Apollo!
Huh? Then what's my bracelet reacting to?
Wait, maybe. Yes, that has to be it.
What has to be it?
Your sense, Apollo? They must be sharper than mine.
Huh?
I can see it, but you can't sense it!
I know about that, Trucy. I don't have some kind of special power or anything.
Listen to me, Apollo. There's some weak point somewhere in Miss Tiala's testimony, and we don't know what her nervous habit is.
Well, what do we do?
You have to perceive it yourself, Apollo, with your eyes and your senses.
Then it's up to me and my bracelet. I don't know why, but the bracelet helps. Somehow touching it helps me focus. Let me give it a shot and bring down the testimony. Oh, there's no way she would just warn him. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yep, there we go. Why go to the click for half-year-old chart now, you ask? But you know why you would go now, don't you? I don't know what you're talking about. It was quite clear, Miss Tiala, you have a nervous habit. The moment you said the word now, you used your right thumb and fiddle with your ring. What? She was unsure. I saw it. Now! That's the key word. The chart wasn't part of your past. It was a clear and present threat. That's ridiculous. Why, if that were the case, I would have had 6 months to do something about it. Indeed. Eh? Which means something happened quite recently. Something to make that chart problem for you now. I've got her on the ropes now. I can feel it. Time to strike the killing blow with evidence. You see, there's no use trying to hide it. This chart became a threat to you now because of this. Where's the report? Here we are. Wocky's checkup report. The health checkup report belonging to the defendant. The Kentuckys are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this? Nothing. Why should I think of anything? Oh, I would think you were positively beside yourself because you were afraid. You knew that what Wocky's check secretary would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free. When the chart came back to haunt you. Yeah! That's all, Your Honor. What just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying?
I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. I could see it by his eyes that were swirling with red and purple. Very cool. So the lady was lying, it seems.
That's correct. She said she had no connection to the miraculous clinic, but her connection was deep indeed, a bit too deep. If the Kanaki got hold of the chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiara?
You guessed it.
Order! I did it! I broke her testimony!
Amazing, Apollo. I didn't see it at all. Daddy was right about you.
Wait!
Miss Tiara!
It's true, that chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. But that's all. I told him about Wocky and went home. It appears this cross-examination is far from over.
What?
She heard the truth from us, that is clear, yet it is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand.
Very well, the witness will add this to her testimony, and we'll have a bit more cross-examination. Girl, I was so close!
You're so close. Keep on her, Apollo.
You say nothing happened at the doctor's office. I disagree. Take a look at this.
What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kind of like you, actually.
This ball was found in the miraculous clinic office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiara.
Enough of this joking around. The police investigate that clinic.
But this was stuck inside the doctor's safe.
Inside the safe?
I guess the police didn't check that far.
Well, there's a...
Damn it, CzarThwomp! Stop associating me with her forehead! I'm much cooler. But there is a problem. How can you say that bullet was fired on that day?
Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kanaki mansion that day. The marks on this bullet matched the murder weapon. That proves the firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder.
Not bad, her forehead.
Melif, have this bullet analyzed immediately. 30 minutes later, a report arrives. The rifling marks on both bullets are identical. Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defendant would like to state their defense would like to state their position. The bullet in that safe proves one fact: a pistol was fired in the office on that day, and CzarThwomp needs a swig of his lemonade.
Oh, come on!
At the time of the fire, the safe was open. That safe which contained the top secret chart. Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Barakis in order to open the safe? Only one person was in such a position to do such a thing. Eyewitness Alita Dahlia. Order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness? Alita knew about Wocky Kentucky's botched operation. She got engaged him without telling him about it. As long as that bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. Why she married him, and then the bullet finally reached its destination? What?
That reminds me, apparently, the Katakis have been asserting themselves in our lawful business practices. They're making quite a great deal of money, a fortune if you will.
Nefarious! Should she plan to marry him just to get her eyes on the fortune?
Yes, on the Kataki Grand 500! The Kataki Fortune 500. You keep talking trash about Alita! I'll sue you, lawyer man! And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, this right here, dear viewers, is the moment that Wocky had usurped Phoenix's position as the King of Simps. Now, I don't throw that term around a lot, but Phoenix back during his Feenie phase and Wocky are basically the kings of Simps. The Wocky has taken the throne. He sits on that throne proudly. Literally. Wocky learns that his girlfriend was was only dating him for his money. She never loved him. She wanted just his money. He's like, I'm gonna sue you! Huh? Me? Yeah, you said you'd abuse my Alita! Frankly, I am sad. I am sad that basically in Spirit of Justice, you know how in Spirit of Justice they had those asinine Ace Attorney DLCs? Frankly, Capcom missed their golden opportunity with that. They should have had for one of those episodes, basically have it where Wocky is suing Apollo's ass. That would have been the best DLC trial. I would have paid money for that. Just to see that trial go down. Basically, Wocky and Apollo in civil court, with Justine as the judge. Basically, Justine being some Judge Judy, and just ripping Wocky a new one every second. That would be beautiful. That would be brilliant. I think you mean accuse. Same difference. Well, you can't have her. She's mine. It was me. I shot the doctor. Me. I love me. That's how I attempted that too. They're in that park. Wocky! Just cool down for a second. You keep your hands off my little Miss Tiala. I'm sorry. I can't believe how much of a simp my fiance is. It's been so long since I've laughed so hard. Something funny? Wocky, wake up and smell reality. Alita, baby! The signature on the chart, the engagement. I mean, come on. It's so obvious. Yeah, and this is the true moment that marks it where basically Wocky is the true simp of King of Simps. Where basically, at least with Dahlia, she was trying to maintain the act that she was this innocent girl, that she was Phoenix's girlfriend. Meanwhile, Alita's outright saying, I was taking you for a ride. You little walking embarrassment and fashion nightmare. And yet Wocky's like, hey, you lie! Even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself. Alita! Your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fraulein. Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyways. So the belly bush is what you were really after. Why else would anyone want to marry Wocky? That's right, I want the money. No way, that's whack! I didn't try to hear that! Should have done the wedding earlier. Oh well. By the way, can I ask you for a question? Who, me? I believe you said you were going to abuse me. Accuse! Oh, what a crime, might I ask? Huh? Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I got close to that brat because I wanted his money. But do you blame me? Look at what I've had to deal with. I've earned that money. I had to spend nights with Wocky. But he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired into the safe that I already left at the after I'd already left the clinic. What? I would never do a thing like that. It was definitely that silly brat. Wait, but
what are you talking about?
Trucy!
You had the most to lose that chart was found.
But I didn't have a pistol now, did I?
Well, you could have taken Wocky's.
You think he'd have mentioned that? No. All I heard him say was, it was me. I shot him. Oh, that's only because he's trying to protect you, because he's crazy! He's a simp! Though mind you, there's a difference between a simp and a soy boy. Basically, a simp is a guy who basically will basically do for a girl to the point where it's undignified. Basically, whereas a soy boy, on the other hand, has some pride to him. Where basically a soy boy will demean himself, like a simp does. But basically, the soy boy at least maintains some semblance of dignity and just respectability. take Suichi for example. Sure, basically Kaede was all his focus, but basically, at least you could say, okay, Suichi has some respectability. I can like Suichi. Suichi can get stuff done. Meanwhile, Wocky and Feenie, on the other hand, when they're obsessing about their girls, ugh, you just want to feel bad for them. You're like, I don't know whether to feel irritated at you or just bad. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation, but the two of you are forgetting one critical point.
What point?
Certainly, the Fräulein wanted that shot, ja. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe, but then, wouldn't she have taken the shot?
Ah!
You see, that shot wouldn't have been left in that safe.
Ah!
He's right! Miss Chiala,
Yes?
it is clear to this court that you are not a very good fiancé.
Oh, I'm flattered.
Perhaps it's time for you to tell us the truth. Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day. Don't forget! We proved that you were at the Miraculous Clinic on the day of the crime!
The Miraculous Clinic too. Yes, I went to that clinic that day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. And then I guess I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof that I saw the pistol, do you? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters that if Dr. Miraculous was shot in the temple or not.
You went back later?
That child was dangerous, you understand? I need to get rid of it, that's why I went that day.
But you
couldn't get the shot then, could you? And later that night, Dr. Miraculous was shot. I heard about the shooting later today, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place.
Ah! That was you?
Ah, Apollo, that sound. It came from behind this door.
Someone's in there! A break-in! They went through that window! So you were the burglar?
That was you two. If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened that safe and gotten the chart.
What? That's trespassing! Embrace it, that!
Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They're gangsters, you know.
There you go, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Admitting the little crime to avoid the big one, eh?
Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak. Oh, sorry, Brother Ray.
Why that day?
That brat was uncontrollable. He was ready to kill. And that would bring in the police. And that chart would have become evidence. And I'd have been hung out to dry.
But the police didn't check the safe, did they?
Well, they thought the crime scene was in the park.
I'll make sure the responsible parties feel the heat of mine pay cuts. Good, Clavier, good. Cut that pay. Do it, Clavier, do it. Such sloppiness won't be tolerated, ja.
I'm kind of thankful for that sloppiness myself, actually. Later?
When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day, so I waited till the day after. The 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in my way.
But why didn't Dr. Mouse keep that chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. He could have burned it.
Because he's a coward. That chart was his insurance.
Insurance?
My signature on that chart, to be more specific. That made sure I couldn't betray him.
But you could have stolen it!
Could have? Is that some new definition of proof?
Well, it's Wocky, he'll tell us!
Might I remind you this is a cross-examination? You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself.
He's right, isn't he? Yeah, but,
But what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment that brat was seen in the park. What's the point dragging it out any further?
The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes?
So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple.
Yes, we heard testimony on this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here. Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look, and was shot. But that testimony was proven to be a lie. Our egregious panties that Mr. Sickler did witness the crime, but he was standing to the north, next to the trash can where he tossed those panties. If Mr. Sickler shot from this location, the bullet couldn't have hit his right temple.
Silly attorney.
What?
Do you remember what you had for breakfast that morning?
Do you...
Sorry. Do you remember, Truzy?
I always have a glass of milk for breakfast.
What matters is one thing. The doctor shot his right temple. But just that glass of milk? Freaking Phoenix! This is proves that Maya's not around. Yeah, and then meanwhile Maya, she just goes, Nick, what are you doing? She's a growing girl. She needs protein, Nick. If that's the case, there can be only one explanation. Patty's guy was mistaken.
But his location was proven. You can't write that off as being mistaken.
Then why don't you show us her forehead?
Show you? What?
Must I explain everything? Very well, let's recap. If the witness Panty's guy was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim?
But wait. If the witness was standing there, how could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple?
I merely laid out the facts for us. It is up to the one possessing the shining forehead to show us.
If you can't,
that is.
Wocky Kadaki was standing at the killer mark. Wesley Zicker at the witness mark. And of course, Tom Rex is at the victim mark. Let's hear what the defense has to say. Where was the victim standing when they shot the victim? As the facts said now, we can't explain this crime without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The killer shot from the entirely different location.
What are you talking about? I don't see any other place.
Apparently, Mr. Justice does. Let's hear it. Where in the park did the killer shoot the victim from?
It's time to raise the roof and the sticks. Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? But what if they were a bit more terrifying? Raise the bar! Like so!
Double penalty?
Have forehead wishes to take us in a new direction? Then he must be ready for the challenges ahead!
Challenge accepted! It's just his time!
Are you sure, Apollo?
The key is the witness, Mr. Sickler's testimony. If we believe that and we know where he stood, and the victim turned when he shouted, there's only one place the killer could have been.
Yes, basically the killer was in the noodle cart.
I believe we owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Alita.
What do you mean? Yeah, we'll get this case done today.
Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time, we were prepared. We know that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when we saw the two men. He shouted just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look at his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple. Oh no. Oh yes! Which direction was his right temple facing at that moment? That's right towards the noodle stand. Order, order, order! So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand?
Let's think about this a bit more, shall we? You said the killer was inside the noodle stand, which would have meant the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park, wheeling his own mother in the cart behind him. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I think you'd notice if you were pulling someone along.
There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he bullying the noodle stand in the first place?
Let's deal with our problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the sand. We had not gone this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in that sand.
I can prove that. You want evidence that someone was in that stand? Well, I've got it. Well, I've got it right here. Intriguing. Let's see what you've got. Show us proof that someone was hiding in the stand. What's prosecutor going?
We have a choice between heaven or hell. Either our brains are damaged or her forehead is. I wonder which it is.
This court finds Mr. Justice brain faulty by majority vote. Oh, time to pick something else. These Maractus Clinic, and they're covered with paint. These slippers were found in a trash can near the crime scene.
And
a single slipper print was found at the scene, right next to the noodle stand. Oh, Miss Tiala, your top print was found in the left slipper. In other words, this is proof that he was at the noodle stand.
Yet there was only one slipper found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith?
Observe the diagram. The mark runs right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace on a cobblestone path.
Yet you still cannot say that this is a footprint, ja?
Why not?
You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if that was on the stand and simply fell to the ground?
That's just dumb.
You're just dumb, Her Justice. Her forehead, you're just dumb. One more thing. A noodle stand is typically collected with the tools of the noodle making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there.
You have a point. Could someone have hidden in the stand?
Apollo, I think I might be on something. I think I figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room for the stand, some things would have to be...
Well, Mr. Justice, do you have proof that someone could have hidden in the stand? I can prove one thing. Someone did scheme to clear the place in the stand. This is a noodle bowl from the Someone Else's noodle stand. Yes, and what about it? We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday in the lobby of the Maractus Clinic. A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic. Mr. Altoon was clear about these bowls.
Well, I don't care who did it. Without that said, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there too.
Yet the bowls were removed. That night there was space inside the noodle stand. Space created at the Maractus Clinic, no less. Right around the time that you were there, Miss Alita.
No! I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. No, not fantasies. They're worse lies than that spoiled brat's pickup lines.
I would like to remind the witness of her current status. This court does not consider you entirely innocent.
And I need my lemonade. Show me an innocent, I'll show you a fairy tale.
In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness had both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus.
More fairy tales, this whole trial is a fairy tale.
Then please, pull us back down to reality, Miss Tiala. I'm giving you one last chance to explain yourself. This is it! Why was Dr. Maractus the one that stand that night? And what was Alita doing inside it? Time to get to the bottom of this case.
That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever laying that chart on the Kataki family's hand. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Katakis had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him.
You knew about the botched operation. So you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself.
I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that brat guy's health checkup report, and that he was coming to sell the score.
I see. Very well, Mr. Justice. Begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor! This is the last testimony. Either I perceive the truth, or it's over.
Okay. Okay. Waiting for it. Okay, come on. Here again. Okay, I'm not sure about this one. Oh, right. I now I'm remembering it. Okay, come on. I need to get out of this one. Okay, yeah, this is the one. I knew it was one. It was involving her hand. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I knew it was basically her pulling out her scarf.
All I do is talk and lie!
What? Show me proof.
I'm pretty sure about this one. I think I'm getting the hang of this. A little slip of confession, confidence, and they give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I do is talk to him. You claim. Yeah, you can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words.
My twitch? What are you talking about?
You have a habit of scratching the area of your neck around the edge of your scarf.
What? What?
This isn't working better than I hoped. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Habits and lies. 2 dots. Connect the dots and find the truth.
Don't look at me like that. I told you the truth.
It seems that you recall what really happened in that office. You can't keep your hands off your neck, can you? It seems that her nervous habit are unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. You can't hide behind your scarf, Miss Tiala. Something happened between you and the victim in the Rights Clinic office. Now, I got proof that shows exactly what happened.
What is that?
You're touching your scarf again. There's something unusual about this lamp. The bulb is broken, and there's a red splotch in the cord. Seeing how you hide your neck, I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for this lamp's state.
Well, spit it out. This talk in this circle's nonsense is killing me.
Very well. The answer is very simple, Miss Alita Tiala. Please remove your scarf.
Eee! This is a try to determine what happens at park. Yet we seem to have drifted off target.
We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting. As soon as the witness removes her scarf.
I won't do it. This is insane. I'm an unrelated third party. You can't order me to remove my clothing.
Miss Tiala, you don't know who I am, do you? I will take this opportunity and I will run with it. I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proven.
What?
You're hardly unrelated. Please remove your scarf.
No! No!
I knew it. So I was right, wasn't I, Miss Alita Tiala? Your neck. That isn't what I think it is. Something did happen that night at the Miraculous Clinic. You needed to get that chart back no matter what it took. You had to steal your fiance's pistol to do it. But wait! Look at this lamp in the witness's neck. It looks like the very opposite happened. Exactly! The victim in the clinic that night was this witness, specifically. You tried to threaten Dr. Miraculous and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Miraculous Clinic.
Eek!
Order! Will someone please tell me what really happened?
I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Miraculous. That gangster knows everything! He's coming for you! Looks like my client's in his last patient. Looks like my client's in its last patient. We have to get rid of that chart. Quick, open your safe. Give it to me. So you can save your own skin. What? I know what you're up to, you shifty Axena. You want in with the family. Oh, don't help Dr. Miraculous. Don't help the guy who helped you get a job. No. Just dump him for your sugar daddy. And if they see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me to hold the short straw. But if I'm going down, I want some company. You!
And what happened next?
He jumped at me and knocked me to the floor. Then he took that cord and looked all demonic. Miraculous was serious, deadly serious. I will strangle you before the goldfish. He really tried to strangle me. What's my goldfish? I must have blacked out.
So, you were the victim?
And this red splotch on the cord was your lipstick. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. There, are you happy now? I was out cold, almost killed, and you claim I then snuck into that noodle stand. But how could I?
Ah! Well, one thing is clear. We now know what really happened at the Miraculous Clinic, and it would seem that our victim was not entirely without blame himself.
I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking of it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now?
You bear some responsibility for events that day, true. Yet if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Miss Tiala. When did this happen? Suddenly, everyone's sympathizing with her.
I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? Do we know everything we need to know about Miss Tiala?
Very well. This finishes the cross-examination of this.
Not so fast. This party is just getting started. Now we rock.
What?
Those spicy or something they look. Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way?
Prosecutor Gavin.
Oh yeah, sure. You're willing to take it all the way to with my brother. You wouldn't send him to jail, but yet, oh, Miss Alita Dahlia, she's strangled, and oh, just let her go. I'm Miraculous choking Tiala. She fell unconscious. But what happened next?
He's right. There's more. We don't know.
But she was choked hard enough to leave that mark. She would have been out for a while.
Even so, what if she was what if it was her in the noodle stand?
Alita Tiala half dead. Dr. Miraculous pulling that stand. And a bullet fired from the inside of the noodle stand.
What if it's all true? We might have already figured out what truly happened that night.
Miss Alita Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet.
You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin? Me, Fraulein? I only wish to know the truth.
Well, let's go back over what we've learned up till now. On the day of the murder, Wocky saw his checkup report, from which he learned about the bullet still inside him. So he took a pistol from the family stash, with the intent to give Dr. Miraculous some of his own medicine.
And Miss Tiala heard about this from Wocky, so she went to the Miraculous Clinic ahead of him, in order to get rid of the chart with her signature.
But then something happened.
Sounds like you figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold.
But what about Dr. Maractus?
That does seem to be a bit of a problem. He just had strangled Alita. Perhaps he thought to death. Whatever did he do after this crime? I was just knocked out, not dead. From the state of his clinic and the scene in the park, I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, have fun. It's good to guess.
Well, Mr. Justice, what did Dr. Maractus do? Maybe he did think he killed Alita. Do I have evidence to show what he did next? As his next move, Dr. Maractus stole a guy Eldune's noodle stand.
What killing me disturbed him that much? So much so he randomly stole a random noodle stand?
It wasn't so random. Remember all the bowls in the clerk's foyer? Bowls that belonged inside the stand. I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? That stand was at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls?
Maybe because the sand was heavy.
Or he wanted to put something in the stand in their place. Oh! Wait, you don't mean... I do. Dr. Maractus replaced those bowls with something. Your corpse, Miss Tiala!
My corpse?
Dr. Maractus panicked. He thought I killed you.
His next move would be to dispose of the body. That's crazy talk. You're all crazy.
Then let's think about it logically. The doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who should he run into but the defendant, Wocky Kataki?
Oh no, not the wannabe gangster Xeno boy! I question your logic.
What's this, Ross Gavin?
The park is a dead end. Why would he head in that direction to begin with? That's right. He had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. It was a trick. That spoiled brat made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand. Yes, because Wocky is that much intimidating factor. You think that Maractus would fall for that little pug? No, Maractus would just punch Wocky out.
Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination.
What?
Apparently the defense had an idea. Tell us where Dr. Maractus was heading with the sand. Here, please show us on this diagram. Maractus was the victim dragging the sand.
He was dragging it to the river. Oh, and the lemonade started to mess with me.
The river? Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why.
A perfect place to dispose of a body. He was gonna throw me into that river? He didn't have many other options for a lion. He had the goldfish jars, and he had surgeon tools.
I believe this clears up the remaining questions. The victim pulling the stand and the defendant before him. Is on the stand, you, Miss Alita. And then the denouncement. Wesley Stickler of panty snatching fame walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts in the instant.
So I shot him?
You were the only one who could have stolen Wocky's pistol. It had to be you. Well, Miss Tiala?
Nice work.
You mean I'm right?
I mean you've done a fine job dreaming up a story to get that spoiled brat off the hook.
You're the one who's dreaming. Apollo's blacked up everything he said with facts. If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling that stand to the park?
Who knows? But that's one gaping hole in your logic. I think Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak.
Whereof what? I can't believe she's still trying to deny this. Is this true, Ross Gavin?
Must I always be the one to point out her forehead's errors?
Ach, maybe there's really is something.
I believe the Fräulein speaks of her doctor's car.
His car?
That's right, the Maractus clinic has that big garage.
In which that a green sports car, was it?
Why would he steal the stand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would just use his car.
Oh!
And so we find our victim without probable cause to steal the stand. And our defendant without a case.
I have an idea. You know that green car? I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken.
Ach, what an excellent counter argument, Fräulein. Too bad you're quite wrong.
Eh?
Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy.
Daddy.
That's right! At night, car that hit Mr. Wright was that green sports car! Oh yes, I nearly forgot about that.
Afterwards, he drove it back to the garage. It ran fine. It ran fine over your daddy.
That's right. So why didn't he use his beloved sports car?
A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead!
No! No! Order, order, order! Well, Mr. Justice, why did Mr. Roxas use his car to carry the body?
Is that the Gorilla Sir and I here? Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the past 2 days.
Everything I've learned! Mr. Justice, this contradiction casts doubt onto your entire case. This is truly your last chance. The defense will explain to us what happened that night.
Okay. The car didn't run.
I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Miraculous couldn't use his car.
Now you're making even less sense than usual.
Not according to my information, Mr. Yala. Put one and one together and the explanation is simple. It's so simple, perhaps you can show us some evidence.
I'm sorry. I really have to end the episode off. I really appreciate you guys stuck to watch this episode. You're back for the next one. If you like the video, like, subscribe, comment, share, do as you want. With that, I'll see you next time. Bye.